Controversial living, dysfunctional love. I stand in front of the mirror, I stand in front of the judge. Crimes that I have committed towards myself makes me a repeat offender. Substance mixed together inside, using my body like a blender. A terminal mind, ill from the dope, I mean, spreading a poisonous message sent by the dope, what was done should be done and never done again, but I practice gluttony and every other deadly sin. I came through like a wrecking ball, dropped on top of my own home, wreaking havoc through my habit. Thy will is absent, thy pills are strong. I rode alone, no helper, a rolling stone. Give me shelter, I can't escape the swelter. So the first note that I will ever write will be a farewell letter. And in it I state a final decree. Body, soul, divided, land of the free. As fate has decided, violence is the key. Dying as I lived, self-destruct. Yo, welcome to the Recovering Addict. I am
What's up?
One of your hosts, Richard, and I am a recovering addict.
And I'm Brandon, and I'm a recovering addict.
Yeah, y'all.
I'm Scott. I'm a recovering addict.
Yeah, I'm Austin. I'm just recovering.
My dog. Oh man, we appreciate y'all being with us today. This episode is called Self-Destruct, and first off, the whole project was about to be destroyed because the studio, if you can't tell, Richard is in Sapphire Studios. He's not in the Recovering Addict Studios. Yeah. But say hi to a few of my friends. This is Sonia Hall from Relapse, Vernon Vice from Relapse, and down there, that would be the Life of Sprinkles. Yeah. Self-Destruct, brother. Brandon, what's up, bro?
What is going on, man? It's good to be back. I'm glad we got one of the weekends off, but I'm sure glad to be back with everybody again. Man, this afternoon I was just I ran across this clip of Denzel Washington's house. He has a nice little quaint spot. It's only an $86 million home. Yeah, it's $86 million. It's something, what do 2 or 3 of those and 28,000 square feet, one of our pillars of Hollywood. But yeah, I was like, what in the world is going on? I'm going to have a whole episode to talk about this man's life. It's pretty freaking amazing. It's great. That's nothing to do with recovery, but I'm recovering just thinking about it.
Sure. No. That's like cribs.
That's beyond cribs. That's like a couple cribs put together. It's just insane. I was like, wow. Oh my gosh, this thing, aerial view was incredible. I said, wow, what in the world, man? I need to step up my game for sure.
Yeah, that's a big step.
Yeah, very big.
One small step for Brandon.
Yeah, yes.
Did he have a movie theater? If he didn't have a movie theater in there, then it really is.
I'm sure he does. It's probably, XD with the recliners and full concession stand and all that.
Controversial living, dysfunctional love. I stand in front of the mirror, I stand in front of the judge. Crimes that I have committed towards myself makes me a repeat offender. Substance mixed together inside, using my body like a blender. A terminal mind, ill from the dope, I mean, spreading a poisonous message sent by the dope, what was done should be done and never done again, but I practice gluttony and every other deadly sin. I came through like a wrecking ball, dropped on top of my own home, wreaking havoc through my habit. Thy will is absent, thy pills are strong. I rode alone, no helper, a rolling stone. Give me shelter, I can't escape the swelter. So the first note that I will ever write will be a farewell letter. And in it I state a final decree. Body, soul, divided, land of the free. As fate has decided, violence is the key. Dying as I lived. Selfish. Self-destruct.
It wanted us to do that again, apparently. Okay?
Yeah, so we'll be speaking about one.
Again. I don't know what's going on. It's technical difficulty.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be playing this every 3 minutes, and we'll speak 1 minute in between.
That is our commercial.
If you get tired of it, just don't worry about it. Yeah,
you will know the whole poem before the broadcast.
If you don't want to hear the commercial, you have to pay.
I have deleted it. It won't happen again.
Oh man!
Wow. All right, so let's move forward. Now, of course, we're talking about self-destruct, and the reason that I came up with this idea for self-destruct, I'm gonna take you back into my mind, probably about 3.5 years ago. I was struggling so hard with X pills, and I had a epiphany, or I thought it was an epiphany. I think that's the wrong word, but I came up with the idea that I was never going to be able to get free from these drugs. So I decided in my mind that I was going to commit suicide. And I began to write a letter. To my daughter. And nobody knew about that letter. My daughter didn't even know about that letter. And in that letter, I was talking about how I was self-destructing and I could not stop self-destructing. So I thought about that particular incident. Of course, I didn't do it. I'm still here with this. But I thought about that particular letter that I had wrote. And that's what made me come up with the idea of creating this show and calling it Self-Destruct, because a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but a lot of us don't realize that when we activate our addiction and when we're moving forward in our addiction, and whatever, and it doesn't matter what addiction that is. It could be food, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be sex, it could be lying, it could be whatever. We are self-destructing. As a matter of fact, I feel like the world, like that's just something that the world, like us as people are doing to the actual world when it comes to climate control. But that's a different subject. I just feel like we don't need to move forward in that. Yeah. But in regards to that's a different subject. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to list some things that self-destructive people do, and let's see if we see those inside of us. Okay, and then let's just talk about it. So the first thing and I got this from a document that I read last week, and it was 15 things. I only took 14 of them because one of them was just too much. But I'm gonna go through them really quick. The first one is they are friends with people who bring them down. These are things that self-destructive people do. They are friends with people who bring them down. That's the first one. Second one, they don't need any help from. Third one, they turn to alternative methods for coping. They date the wrong people. That's big. They spend money on what's not necessary. They repeatedly make the same mistakes. They live, I like this one. They live in the moment. That's a self-destructive person. They live in that moment. I'm not worried about tomorrow. What's going on today? This is what's happening today. They often
I can go both ways on that.
Huh?
I can go both ways on that one, because
What you mean?
all you have is the moment. So like
right.
Life is just a series of moments.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. You're talking about yellow.
Yeah. Or Yodo, you only die once.
Oh, okay. Well, let's continue then. They often lack good hygiene. They feel they have no positive assets. They are habitual liars. They start fights for no reason. They are often seriously unhealthy. These are things that self-destructive people do. Brandon, you got something to say about that?
Well, I definitely have never dated the wrong people. I've got my life together on that. So
is that right?
Yeah, it's the perfect. Right? Yeah, if you guys want to know what perfect looks like, just come see me. It'll be all right. We'll go down the list of that now. Yeah, all of my exes, all of them around Texas are looking at me like, what?
Yeah.
No,
you better be glad you said that. They're saying you better be glad you said that.
No, yeah, they're all laughing right now if they're listening. Yeah, but the spending money that's not necessary, Lord knows I've done that. And making repeated mistakes. Hygiene, I never had the issue on that, but I think that in general, almost every single one of these things on the list, I've hit that at some point in my life.
Right.
We all have, and I think the self-destruct mentality really is more the I don't care mentality. We get to that point, especially when we get to that point in our brain where we say it really isn't any hope. Ultimately, that is what the bottom of the barrel moment is. When you are so addicted, you think there is no hope. Then you don't have any motivation to move out of that. So you're going to go into self-destruct mode because you really don't care about the outcome at that point. You don't care who you plow down as you're going through that process. You don't care how much you're plowing down parts of your life and your financial stability, your mental stability, and all those kinds of things. It's just, once again, going back to shift in perspective, guys. This is all what we're trying to bring out and bring into the light here is if you're reaching that point, you have to shift your paradigm. You have to look at it in a whole different fashion, because if your mindset is that there is no hope, that there is absolutely no reason to get your act together, you're going to hit every single one of these things on the list and more, because you'll just plow into oblivion at that point, And so there has to be something that motivates you to say, why do I need to turn this around? Why do I need to walk away from the position of self-destructive behavior?
Where do you think that thought comes from? Do you think that's like something that we tell ourselves, or do you think it's something that's like a higher power gives us, shows us that there's better ways, or do you think it's something like, where do you think that actually comes from, the wanting to better yourself?
I think it's from being like sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's just my motto. You get tired of doing the same things. Like, I'm very compulsive. Like, there's no such money that makes me happy. I lost over like $1 to $2 million gambling on sports. That was my bad thing, like sports gambling. Drugs was bad, but self-destructing, it was gambling.
Wow.
Like, playing cards with like social clubs and doing like crazy stuff. That was probably my self-destruct. But drugs is when I had my neck surgery over here in 2013. Wow. But I would say compulsiveness is like my highest thing.
Yeah. Do you think that's what drove you to like decide to like, you got to do something different, like change?
I woke up one morning. It was weird. It was like I tapped out for the first time ever in my career. I say in my testimony, it was like I felt like I was in an arm bar and I couldn't get out. And I was like, I tapped out. You get to that point. It's either jail, death, or tapping out. That's those three things I say. And I tell people
no, go ahead, bro.
I tell people when I honestly go to like Kensington, it's like, it's going to be death, jail, or you're going to get freedom, and you're going to get the destiny and assignment that you got for your life. And some of them catch on. Then maybe 6 weeks later, they catch on, like, and they want to get free. It's all about like tapping out, man.
It reminds me, because the next episode, remember, Brandon, we were talking about the next episode, which is called Breaking Point. And I believe that's going to be, a powerful episode for not only myself, but for people to realize and be able to shed some light on what made them move into recovery. Everyone, well, not every addict, because some people just have just made it up in their mind. They're just going to be an addict forever. But but people who move in recovery, there is a breaking point. There is something that just clicks, you know, and that breaking point could happen 5 or 10 times before you actually do something, you know what I'm saying, to you know, to prove that you're ready for recovery, you know. So I mean it's really a conversation to go deeper into on the next episode when we're talking about breaking point. I want to actually stay on this particular topic when it comes to self-destructing, because I got something else for you, Mr. Austin. There is something that I read, okay? And this is another document. It's another thing I pulled off the internet. And it was talking about things that you may not realize that you're doing on a conscious level that are self-destructive thoughts. Did you catch that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's basically saying these are self-destructive thoughts that you have, but you do not realize that they are self-destructive thoughts. Okay. So here's a few of them. Insisting that you're not smart enough. I do this so much. I do this so much. I have friends that like, Richard, you're smart. Like, no, I'm not smart.
I don't know, man. I don't feel that way. Like the only time I'm wrong is when I doubt myself. You know,
so doubting yourself.
Well, so here that's the thing too. Is like, where do these thoughts come from? They don't come from us. Like when we dream, the dreams don't come from us. These thoughts are not ours. So who's putting these self-destruct thoughts into your mind? You know, like where is it actually stemming from? That's
a question.
I think I have a little idea about it.
Well, I think you know, there's a lot of different angles and a lot of different belief systems as to what causes that. One of the things we've established for sure on the show is that addiction is a disease. And so I'd say that there's certainly a root of, you know, I mean, they've done studies as to what the brain looks like in regards to those that have been under addiction. And they say it's very similar to like a truck that goes through the mud continually. It starts to build ruts in the ground. And when you are coming out of addiction, those ruts have to go away and you have to start all over and almost go through a rewiring of your brain. So I think that we start to form a pattern in our mind, a self-destructive pattern in our brain, and our brain is having to go through a process of rewiring when we're going through recovery. Now, I've had personally situations where I've had an encounter with God and the Lord has completely delivered me. I've been delivered from some serious major addictions, like probably 15 to 16 years ago. And Scott, I think you told me you had a similar situation like that as well. So not everybody's going to believe the same. You know, we all don't have the same personal perspectives on that. But the reality of it is there was a shift. There was something that stopped the flow of destruction. And so, you know, I think that we all progress there in a different place. You know, I talked to Rich, I guess it was last night or the night before, we were talking about this. And we'll bring this up in another episode, but it was a comment that had come from a speech that was made by Matthew McConaughey. And he was talking about, they asked him about his goals and who his hero was. And he said, I need to take some time to think about that. And then they came back to him. He said, I thought about it. And it's actually me 10 years from now. And then they came back to him later on and said, so have you reached your goal? He said, no, it's actually going to be me 10 years from now again. Mm-hmm. And so I think that part of, you know, when you're in the state of addiction, but you get to that place where you say, I'm ready to be done on being on this path of self-destruction. Part of it is that you have finally come to that epiphany moment where you've said, I desire better for myself. And I have a personal goal to go this direction. And if I don't get there, then I know I'm not going to be where I know I need to be. I'm ready to be way better than where I'm at, you know? And I think that not every person that is in addiction gets to that moment at the same time. We all have our breaking point. We all have our place. And of course, like you said, we're going to bring this up in another episode, but there is a place that we get in that self-destruction that each of us go, you know what, enough's enough. And just like you said, Scott, you know, when it's when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's truthfully, I think, where we get to that place where we're turning the boat and we're going, no, we can't do this anymore, because we see it's either death or we got to go up from here. That's it. You know,
Austin, what do you think it comes from?
You know, I'm really not sure.
Tough ass question.
No, it's a tough question for sure. That's why I asked.
Super tough question. I'm sitting here thinking
like, I mean, if you think about it, you break it down. I mean, if I desire not to desire, that's already to desire, which in itself is ego. You know, I mean, so if I want to be better, why do I want to be better? It's for mostly my ego, you know, and so it's like, I'm trying to, like, if I desire not to desire, like, how do I actually surrender myself? And then if I'm doing that, who am I surrendering myself to? Is it like my inner higher self, or is it like a Godhead, like a, you know, Christian belief like God, or like, you know, Hindu version of like your inner self is, you know, like where, like, if I want to be better, why am I not already better? Like, if I know what's better for me, then why am I not already doing that? And it's like, you know, the reason I want to be better is the reason I'm not. And
there was a man, I think Brandon, you had told me to watch a movie. What was it? In the past week, it came out on HBO Max. And there was a quote in there, and it came from, I think it was from, you know, a different culture, and they said, I'm gonna see if I can paraphrase it. It is better not to want, because if you want, that is when, oh gosh, I can't get it. I'm going to find it. I promise you, I'm going to find this quote. But it goes exactly with what you were saying, man. I'm going to find this quote, and I'm going to repeat it.
I'll say this, Austin. You definitely went hardcore philosophical on me there, and I appreciated that. Yeah, it's like, what? He goes, well, what about the inner ego here? I'm like, whoa, like, yeah, that blew my mind. Yeah, but yeah, so that's good stuff. But it's, yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't know. You judge a man by his questions, not his answers, right? So,
right.
You know, I'm constantly wanting to better myself, but then I think about where's actually stemming from. Do I want to be better? If I do want to be better, why am I not already better? And why am I holding my own self back? Which is, again, self-destructive patterns and whatever, subconsciously or not subconsciously. And then how do you take control of your subconscious without being conscious about it? Like, I don't know. It's kind of like a mind bender, but I do know that there's a reason. I believe that there's a reason for everything. I think it's really important what you do with what you have, and how you know, and if you've messed up, you got to get back to where you're supposed to be, you know, period. And you kind of know that in your soul somehow. Like, I don't think it actually, again, comes from you. It comes from something else. And that's what drives us, whether it be whoever, you know, a higher power, God, you know, whatever you believe in.
It seems like to me too that there's like two lanes in the mind of the addict, and that is one having a self-awareness of what they need to be doing, and the other is coping with a whole bunch of unresolved stuff. I mean, it's like there's this destruction in front of you that's constantly flowing, but at the same time, past all that destruction, you really do have an awareness of what you need to do. I've rarely had a moment in my life, even as an addict, where I've gone, oh, you know, I don't know what it's supposed to look like for me to be in the right state of mind and live my life free of addiction. We all have a pretty good idea what that is, but there's always this extra barrier, especially when you're in the throes of deep addiction, where you're going, man, I can't even possibly imagine what it's like to get to the other side of this, because I'm so far down. And once again, it goes back to tearing yourself down, you know, lying to yourself that there is no hope. that you're like, you struggle to walk out of that, So I think there's definitely a self-awareness in our minds as to what we really need. It's a matter of whether we can walk that out because we're so under the throes of addiction.
Sure.
I found that quote.
It all kind of goes back to the first thing Rich said too, was just the, who your friends are. Like, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. I mean, like, that's so important to who you're around. They're either going to build you up or break you down. And that's I think that's why it's number one. I mean, it's the number one important thing is where you're at and who you're spending your time with. That's where you're going to be like.
Absolutely. And I could say this, I can say this, Rich, when it comes to people you hanging out with, that what was the statement? People that you friends with people who bring them down. Yeah. If anybody wants to know the person that used to bring me down, that would be one of the people on the show.
don't even do that. Don't even do that. That's first off, that's not fair.
Scott, what I did the same thing. I did the same thing to Rich, though. We played off of each other, brought each other. Yeah, exactly. We did this both to each other. If he wasn't doing it to me, I was doing it to him. So that was just the way it was. This way back and forth.
I have always been the number one tempter in my group, but until Austin came around. As a matter of fact,
take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
It is what it is.
Came around, then I was just like. Yes.
At some point, we all got to take responsibility, right? Yeah. So it is what it is.
But did you die?
No. Oh no.
I was actually watching The Hangover. Gosh. I was actually watching The Hangover the other day. I was laughing at that, but no, that's like a terrible way to look at it.
Do you remember dropping me off at the hospital?
Oh man.
Oh man.
Goodness.
Exactly.
So, you know what? I could really talk about this like all day. I feel like we should save that though. It's such a for the next episode. Like tune in next week.
Yeah. That quote it came from what is stories. The Saints movie, Many Saints of New York.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and he says it's the wanting. All life is pain. Pain comes from always wanting things. That's what, and I was going with what you were saying, Austin, in regards to if I desire, and if I don't desire to desire, then I'm already desiring. You see what I'm saying? So it's very, what's the word? Confusing, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense. Let's keep going, guys. Let's see things that make you not. Actually, we're going to take a break right quick. Hold on one second. Let's just take a break right quick and pause. So that was a lot. Okay. You are watching The Recovering Addict. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/C/The Recovering Addict 1. Uncomfortably real, extremely raw. Let's get back to it.
Right. By the way, guys, I want to hold on, Rich. One of the things I do want to tell everybody, for those of you that just saw that he just put up, one of the things that we are trying to do, because we are growing and we're seeing a lot of following ever since we started, only in just a matter of a couple episodes. So I do want to encourage everyone, please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, we ask you to please move over there. Eventually, we will be moving our podcast to YouTube fully. It has a lot more stronger capabilities and things we want to do in the future, fundraising and things like that when we end up merging into becoming a nonprofit. So we ask that all of you, if you're willing, please come on over to YouTube, because eventually at some point we will be only going to that platform as a broadcast place. So thank you so much, and let's keep moving.
Let's get back into self-destruct. Okay, so have you guys ever had suicidal thoughts? I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to get raw now.
Yep.
Have you?
Absolutely.
Have you? Any one of you guys ever seen psychiatrists?
Yeah, all the time.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. I was like a guinea pig for a long time.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, what you mean? They was prescribing all them drugs to you?
Everything. Seroquel, Ambien, Adderall, Vyvanse, and
really,
like pain pills. Yeah.
How do you mix all that? I mean, that sounds like a form of self-destruction.
I was going up and down. I was going like up and down. I was going to 4 doctors at once. So I was getting like a lot of like pain pills, but I was selling like 3 bottles and taking 1 for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
hustling within itself.
He's an entrepreneur. You can't.
Entrepreneur.
That's in your blood. That doesn't go away.
No.
But I'll do the real entrepreneur, not that street entrepreneur.
Oh my goodness. Anybody ever go as far as trying to commit suicide?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I put a shotgun in my mouth one time.
Oh,
Didn't pull the trigger.
you didn't.
Well,
You not
No.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't, bro. Yeah, I've had some thoughts when I was younger, and but I just couldn't really, just couldn't even get to that place to do it.
Most people are afraid to act on this shit. I've had thoughts, but thankfully that those thoughts have decreased over the years, and now I'm living a better life. But I've thought about it many times throughout my addiction, and most of the time when I think about it, or when I thought about it, it was coming down. I was coming down off of many drugs, and I would think about it. I'd be alone. One thing I read is most men have thoughts of suicide when they are alone and like feeling like not wanted by women. This is what I was reading. And they said that most in America between the ages of 10 to 34, suicide is the second leading cause of death. The second leading cause of death. Suicide.
Wow.
That's a thought.
The first one. The first one's like what, heart disease or something?
Yeah, I think it is.
What's the first?
I think it is
probably heart disease.
Yeah.
Man, so I drive home the other day, like on last Sunday, and there was a whole 10 cops in my little cul-de-sac, like a whole bunch of cop cars, and finds out my neighbor 2 houses down, he shot himself. And I was like, man, what the heck? I just talked to him the night before, but come to find out, it wasn't actually intentional suicide. He was on his phone FaceTiming his girlfriend. He was cleaning his gun on the kitchen counter, whatever, and he was just talking to his girlfriend, and he just had it under his arm over here, and somehow it just accidentally went off. And he tells us, he's like call the cops, I've just been shot. And he makes his way towards the door and just collapses. And it was just so sad, and I was broken up because at first I thought it was intentional. I just couldn't understand why. Accidental, it's still just terrible. But
that's terrible.
They mentioned accidental in there, and I think they said in between 8 to 16 or something like that. It is a high percentage of Americans. Kids that do accidental suicide. It is a lot. It is something that mental health. I feel like everybody needs to focus on their mental health, because a lot more people, suicide thoughts and suicide rate is just going up. A lot more people are feeling hopeless these days and feeling like they can't make it through. And a lot more people has depression and have anxiety and does not know how to handle it. And that's why I asked about. Have you ever seen a psychiatrist? Have you ever seen a therapist? I believe more people should see them these days because it helps. I'm learning that it helps. I finally decided, okay, I was going to see a psychiatrist, but the stigma behind it, you tell somebody, hey man, you see a psychiatrist, oh man, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? They want to distance themselves.
I think it's good and bad to see a psychiatrist. It's good because
Go ahead.
You're letting everything out, honestly. But the bad thing is they're putting you on these meds to numb you. And you're not getting to the root of it. And you're not getting to that layer of over layer. You might get rid of one thing, but you got 6 other layers that you have to get to. And it's just, I feel like
it's numbing you, basically.
That's what I feel. That's what it did to me my whole life from 16 to 33.
Really?
It's a Band-Aid. It's not fixing them.
Exactly. I
believe that. When you think about what we're doing right here, this is the stuff that essentially a psychiatrist is going to be doing the same thing, drawing out. Yeah, we're not medical professionals, but we're drawing out questions, having you look within yourself and say, let me ask you some questions that are going to be hard to face, some things that you need to be asking yourself. Essentially, if a psychiatrist can do that without turning you into a pharmacy, then then there's something that can be done for you. If they just want to put, like you said, a Band-Aid on it and numb it, then we got a problem here, but that, that's, I think, another thing I want to throw in here, Rich, on the suicide thing, is also mental disorder. Because, I have one of my best friends that I was friends with in high school. His name was John Riccaboni. Super amazing guy. He was awesome. He did have a drug problem. But, he had a wife and 2 kids, and he was bipolar. Well, when you mix having an addiction problem alongside a bipolar issue, that's a bad concoction when it comes to what it can do to you emotionally and mentally. And he went downstairs in his basement and hung himself. And like 6 months before that, one of my other friends killed himself. And they both, had that kind of struggle. So I think that definitely that's another factor, is if you're going to a medical professional and you're identifying the fact that, hey, you're not just an addict, but you have some other things you might be struggling with alongside that, that's going to kind of accentuate whether or not you need to get some help too, because you're going to look at it and say, hey, I may in my mind think everything is fine. But if there's somebody out there that can actually say, hey, by the way, we can see there's more going on here than just a standard addiction. You might need to know that, because walking out of that on your own, it may not be so easy as you think,
So y'all thinking a lot of, go ahead, Austin.
Well, I was just going to touch on, that real quick. It's basically with the suicide, I think a lot of it stems from social media and the fact that we do have access to see everyone's fake Instagram and fake Facebook and all that stuff. And so comparison just steals your joy and makes you not focus on yourself, which I love Matthew McConaughey's, what he said. I mean, he wants to impress himself. That's the only person you really need to try to impress yourself. And if you can impress yourself, you want to be the person you want to be in 10 years, like then you're not focused on everyone else and you're focusing on you. And that's what you need to do. And I think that's where a lot of suicide stems from, is people focusing on everyone else and thinking, wow, the grass is always greener when they're on AstroTurf,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
we were talking about social media addiction the other day. I'll just say I've had to keep myself in check the last couple of weeks. My social media time has been way too high. And I had a TikTok that barely moved for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden it blew up. This last week it went crazy and it went viral, and I was like attached to it, like, holy crap, people love me and like me, what's going on here, and then you become addicted to that. You get addicted to that, that affirmation. And then when you start making new videos and you don't see it go up, you're like, people don't love me as much as I thought they did. It's like, oh no,
self-destruction.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, man,
Wow. So, I say something quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
While you're going with social media, I'm very bad on social media, but I'm going to tell you why. I post up a lot of positive quotes and scripture and all that. And I get people in my messages saying, Scott, you just saved my life. I was thinking about killing myself. And then I get people that say, oh, can you pray for me? Before it would be like, Scott, can you get me drugs? Or Scott, can you get me a gambling account? So that's why I post a lot on Facebook. Because I'm getting people from like 20 years ago. Hey, I like the things you're doing. Can you pray for my daughter? It's like, whoa, 20 years ago? These people are reaching out. That's why I use social media for like Hope Dealer Ministry, like almost like advertising.
Right.
That's awesome.
So let's move into you, bro. Let's move into you. I think we capitalize on a lot of stuff today. Let's talk about Hope Dealer. Let's get your story out. You down with that?
Let's do it.
All right.
So
go ahead, man.
You want to ask questions, or you want me to just?
Well, just tell us a little bit about, what your background is, if you can. Just kind of give us a capsulated version of it, and then tell us, you know, once you made that turn, where you decided to go. I know your ministry is called Hope Dealer, so we definitely want to understand, you know, how you came to that point.
Gotcha. So basically, I was born from Brooklyn, New York, and then I moved to Staten Island. But in Brooklyn, I was like the problem child. That's what I was known. I got like sent to a psychiatrist because a kid brought in a guinea pig, and I actually squeezed it and threw it out the window. So it was like some crazy stuff. But I basically started going to a psychiatrist. But at 10 years old, my grandpa died. That's what one day before my birthday. So it like triggered me to like just go nuts off the deep end in a little bit. So I moved to Staten Island, and I really didn't know that many people there, but I started like drinking and smoking, dabbling with stuff. But it just started getting deeper and deeper. I started doing steroids a lot because I wanted to just get bigger and bigger, just like going on vacations and stuff. But it all like got downhill when I started, like, I hurt myself because from the steroids, I like got wear and tear on my shoulders, my neck, and I had in 2013 I had to get spinal fusion on my neck, and that's when I started going to doctors, like 2, 3, 4 doctors. One doctor would throw me out. I go to another doctor, and it was like I was selling 3 bottles, getting rid of 1 bottle, taking 1 bottle for myself. But it just got to a point. It was like I was losing so much money in gambling too. Like I was robbing my parents. I stole my mother's engagement ring. Like, and I proposed to my 2nd grade teacher when I was young. And it was just, I got, yeah.
What did she say?
Talks about, no. But it got to a point, it was like, it was getting reckless down there. I tried to kill myself 12 times high and drunk, totaling all my cars. Like, and I didn't realize that till I was sober. And then when I moved to, when I was in Staten Island, I was just dabbling with, like, I was selling ecstasy. I was gambling a real lot. I was really bad with like gambling and social clubs with like playing poker, and just I robbed my uncle's house like over 40 times, and they caught me one time, and I was supposed to go away, but he dropped the charges for 10 years, and it never got that way, but I could have went away, and it was a lot of chaos in my house. So I used to like not run away, but stay out late till like 4 or 5 in the morning doing drugs or drinking or just being reckless in a way. And it came to a point, it was like, I got to get out of this house. Like, I couldn't stay in Staten Island with my parents. And I ended up moving out because I was making money in this, like, doing stupid stuff. And I was working, like, driving hookers around. And I had my security license. I was doing a lot of bouncing work and meeting different type of people. But then it was like, I want to get out of that house. There was too much chaos going around with my family. That's still going on. But I learned to deal with it with prayer and reading the word and just worshiping and just like staying in my lane, I call it. So I basically, when I moved to, when I was in Staten Island, it was a little reckless. I was getting stupid and stuff, but I came to a point, it was like, I had enough. Like, it was like, enough is enough. Like, I couldn't take it anymore. I wasn't that type of person to ever give up, but it was the first time ever where I like tapped out. And I was like, Dad, I got to go to rehab. And I looked up, like, I'm the type of person that I have to go to the Michael Jordan, the Rolls Royce of rehabs. Because nothing's going to, the places, and I'm going to be honest with you, the places in the United States of America suck. I'm being real and I'm being raw. They suck. Yeah. They're not good. They give you an alternative, Vivitrol, methadone, morphine, Suboxone, Subutex. That's not getting somebody off drugs. It's just an alternative. And then they got to get off that, which is hard too. So, and now they're making it legal where you could shoot heroin. That's bananas. I look at the government. Yeah. I look at the government like the mafia. Like they're unstoppable. Like they just want to, they're the pill pushers. So basically, I found a rehab in Baja, California, Mexico. It's called the Holistic Sanctuary. And this guy his protocol is down to a science. I go in there. I was on a plant-based diet. This is going to get raw, which is bad. I had to do coffee and water enemas, which was horrible. And basically...
Go ahead. You had to do coffee and water? Repeat that?
Coffee and water enemas.
What's that?
It's where you flush your bowels out.
Yeah.
It's where you go in the exit.
You wanted me to put me on the spot right there.
Yeah.
Can you show us? show me how to do it, Scott.
I just needed my audience to get an understanding of what's going on right now, so they can get an understanding. You know. All right, continue.
So basically, I was doing Reiki, which I don't approve right now, but massages, the jacuzzi, it was paradise down there. It's literally paradise. And then I was doing a hyperbaric chamber, which I was nervous to get in because they bolt you in and you stay in there for an hour, but it heals the inside and outside of your body. And then I did a thing called Ayahuasca, where there's a shaman there and he takes a drink and I take a drink and I hallucinate, and he gets to the root of the problem of why I was doing drugs. Like, why am I feeling this way? And you purge, like you scream because out of anger or all the trauma that you had in your life. And then I had zero withdrawal. I want to tell you guys, zero withdrawal while I was down there. Zero, which is crazy because every time I tried myself, it was impossible. Right. I couldn't do it. And then I did a thing called Ibogaine. I was there for like a month and a half. And Ibogaine was like on another level. It's illegal in America. Why? Because I asked the guy, why don't you come to America? Why? They'll kill me. Like they did to Dr. Sebi, basically. So that's why they don't want to bring out that documentary, like Left Eye, and then Nipsey Hussle. Now it's going to be Nick Cannon next. That's my opinion.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
That's another episode.
That's another episode.
Yeah. Oh,
basically,
man.
I did the Ibogaine. It's a 12-hour procedure, and it looks like an espresso cup. Every 2 hours, you take a drink. You're monitored. There's doctors everywhere, and it basically rewires, restores, like revives you, and basically you're like reborn. It's crazy because I didn't feel any withdrawal at all, which is amazing because this is what I needed to get sober. And then when I got out of there, I got depressed for like a year. It was weird. I was in my parents' basement, and I was thinking crazy, like suicidal thoughts, but I wouldn't act on them. And I put on Eric Thomas and Tony Robbins, and I started listening to motivational speeches, and I just jumped out of my bed and started doing Uber in Philly. And when I was in Philly, I just started driving, making money like $1,000 to $1,200 a week. It was good. It wasn't bad. And then I got lost in Kensington. And that's when like God spoke to me and said, I need you here. Like I was going to church, dabbling with stuff, but that experience was like, that was a moment because I never heard God before ever in my life. So ever since there, me and Will Maris Carry-On and a few people that went to my church did a thing called Jesus Chain Breakers. We would go down there for like every 3 months with like 200 meals, 20 boxes of clothes, care packages, pray for them, get salvations. But I wanted to take it to another level, not to get away from them. I go when they go, but I wanted to go deeper, real deep, like go 2 to 3 times a month. And I said to myself, I'm going to do it. So I started going down there with my friend Arthur from Brooklyn. And he just likes what I'm doing, and people like love what I'm doing, and they donate like 200-300 sandwiches, 100 sandwiches, chips, and all that stuff. But the main goal is to get them to rehab. That's my main goal when I go down there and get salvations. So when we went down there, me and Arthur, he was like, "You got some fire." I was like, "Yeah, I want these people to see what I have now." And I go down there, and maybe 9 people in 2 months been going to rehab. I just got a message from somebody today saying, "Oh, I love your passion. I'm out of Kensington." That's the big thing that I want is people to get out of rehab and get out of Kensington. Because I don't care what anybody says. It's all about people, places, and things. But so I want to take it to another level, Kensington. I want to get like sober living houses. I want to get the whole, like with God, all things are possible, man. And I know I pray to God. I send angels on assignment every time I go down there to just touch one person and bring them to God and like go to rehab and get free. So when I go down there, I just pray for people and I get their numbers and I bring them to rehab. I have a lot of resources now, like in Valley Forge and Bowling Green and hospitals and Team Challenge is like my big one. So and they keep them there for like a year. So that's the main goal. You can't go for 30 days to rehab and think you're gonna. It's hard to go for 30 days and think you're gonna get free. You need
right.
You
gotta practice relapse. You gotta practice relapse prevention.
Yeah, it's all a change, and you gotta feel uncomfortable. Like right now, I'm at my parents' house. I feel really uncomfortable, but God is like resonating in me, so giving me crazy encounters. I'm praying for people at hospitals. One of my good friends, Noe, I won't say her last name, was in a coma. And I went up there and they said, oh, she's brain dead. I was like, nah. I told her mom because her brother died at 33 years old, my best friend, and now she's 33. I got free at 33 from drugs. So I was like, I went up there and I laid hands on her feet and I said, I spoke. I was like, I spoke to the death. I said, I command it, I bind it in the name of Jesus. And I spoke to it, and then 2 months later, she's up, and now she's on Facebook. Now she's walking around a little bit. So I don't really, when people say, oh, this person's a lost cause, no, they aren't. It's just, it's temporary. And eventually, they get the destiny and assignment that they want for their life. They just have to, they can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. That's my opinion. And they got to find what works for you. Like if NA meetings work for you, do it. If God works for you, do it. If it's moving, do it. And whatever works for you, do it. And I appreciate it. As long as they stay sober, I'm happy. And I'll be anybody's sponsor because I love helping people.
Right.
That's awesome.
I've been looking at this holistic sanctuary that you went to.
No joke.
This is some exclusive stuff. First off, it's not just in California. It's in Beverly Hills, California. So that's top notch. And then at the start of the page, the most exclusive healing center in the world. I believe that.
No, I promise you that.
Yeah. We only accept the best addicts.
Actors. Did you see some actors in there?
No,
you see some actors and some rappers in there, huh?
The thing is, it's a system that's going on right now with like if you have state insurance, good luck. Like I deal with people from state insurance and it's hard to deal with it. So I bring them to Team Challenge. But if you have money, I would send you right to Holistic Sanctuary. It's common sense. Like the success rate is like 95.
Wow.
They got a lot of stuff in here, man. It looks like they definitely they're definitely going to tap
Michael
into
Jordan
addiction and more.
Yeah.
It's
well,
Michael
and we
Jordan
could always
rehabs.
And if on the weekends we can go over and hang out at Denzel's house. So I mean that's
I wish I had that money.
I'm just saying.
Is it his house that's doing it?
It sounds like it. It sounds like it.
It sounds like it. Daily. Hey, we got a daily massage. We have daily yoga, daily Reiki. What is Reiki? What is Reiki?
I don't believe in that right now, bro.
So they use sounds. They hit like sound bowls and stuff, and the sound waves is supposed to open up stuff and release things, and which I have mixed feelings about because I know sound is very powerful in good and negative ways. Like they've shown it on plants. Like you play classical and some other music, the plants like grow and stuff. You play like crazy like death metal rock and the plants like wither. And so I feel like if someone doesn't do it correctly, if they're doing the incorrect keys or the incorrect tones or whatever, ohms or whatever it is, like I think it can mess you up just as good as actually do good for you. So I'm kind of on the fence with Reiki.
Is this that plant medicine they're talking about, bro?
No. Well, I'm talking about Reiki's the sound.
Okay.
Yeah, Reiki's different.
This is what is this? Chakra rebalancing. Heavy metal cleanse. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
A heavy
I'm on the fence with that.
A parasite cleanse. Okay, that's just with the super. Okay, I see what that is.
And they're still using leeches,
Yeah, man, you get your money's worth out of this one, brother.
Man, what did you say? It's like 50 grand.
You weren't thinking about relapsing throughout the process. They had too much stuff for you to do. Your mind, you ain't never had no time.
How long is the process? I mean, how long you were in there?
I stayed there for a month, but he said, I'll give you another half a month for free because me and him, like, we connected really good. But it's $50,000 for a month. And sometimes, like, say, like, you're really big, like 300-400 pounds, that you have to stay for 2-3 months because you have to lose, like, you have to prepare to do ayahuasca and Ibogaine. You can't just go in there like you are right now. You'll throw up and it won't be good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I personally do saltwater flushes every once in a while, just for that very reason, because I can tell when I've got too much toxins in my body.
Me too.
And I'll do that. I did one yesterday, and it honestly, if I can tell that I have certain toxins in my body or old addictions that are starting to try to rise up or whatever, but even with caffeine and things that are in my body, I will go do that cleanse, and it kind of resets things a little bit for me. But yeah, I'm all about cleansing, because that's definitely something that
Big.
that's worth it. Makes it a lot easier on you to overcome the addiction, for sure, because you hold all those toxins and all those things that you're addicted to in your intestinal tract. That's one of the main places it stays. So when you flush out the toxins, your body has absolutely nothing to grab onto. That addiction's got to come from somewhere. And so your cells and everything that is trying to latch on to that thing that's causing your brain to go into that withdrawal status, if there's nothing in your body left over from that, that makes it a whole lot easier to say no to those things that are drawing your body down, when you don't have anything in your intestinal tract that comes from that old addiction. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Scott,
That's why fasting's one of the most effective things.
Scott, we appreciate you. You got anything
I appreciate
else?
you guys.
No, man.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
But this holistic has got my mind. I really want to study more about it, man.
Yo, Rich, let me tell you one thing quick, guys. If I was a billionaire like Bezos and Elon Musk, I would send all the addicts to this place.
Yeah.
You know what? You want to know why? It's just you get an encounter. Like that's what I was trying to say. Some people, how they quit, they get an encounter, and that's how they quit. I feel like they get an encounter or some trauma or some, like they tap out. I feel that's the way people stop doing drugs. Like that encounter. That's my opinion. I think
that breakthrough.
Back to the number one thing on the list too is who you're around, your friends, and so you put yourself in that good place for a good amount of time, and it frees you from the everything else. So
absolutely,
it's about
awesome.
triggers. It's all about triggers too.
It's unfortunately most people that are struggling with addictions though don't have 50 grand to go
exactly.
to. If they did have 50 grand, they would use it.
$2 grand to go to it. You know?
Can I ask you guys something? Can I ask you guys something? If I said I'm coming to your house and I'm going to kill you, and you need 50,000 right now, you're going to go to a street guy and get 50,000. Am I wrong?
A street guy to get 50?
You're going to get it some way, somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's government stuff.
We'll find a way to get that 50,000. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, no, if it's life or death, you're right. You're like, you'll figure it out.
Or I'm just not going to be at the house when you get there.
Yeah.
That's another come on over here, brother.
50 grand. I go stay in the Ritz for like 6 months.
Hey, we're gonna take a break right quick. Hold on. Thank you for watching the Recovering Addict, guys. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be www.youtube.com/C/The Recovering Addict 1. This is the Recovering Addict podcast, where we are extremely real and uncomfortably raw. However you say that, it is the truth about this show. We appreciate you guys listening.
Yes, we do.
Okay. We are about to get into our newest segment called Ask an Addict. And we're going to wait for Mr. Austin Brooks to come back because this is his part. I guess he must have went and did what is it called? An enema?
An enema? I'll be right back too.
Everybody's doing an enema.
Everybody's doing an enema.
Hey, you see that picture of Austin, man? How did he get that picture up there like that?
Looking like a country star.
I want a picture like that, man. He does look like a Blake.
Lake Shelton.
Oh my God. Let's go play golf. Yeah, so he's gonna ask you a couple questions here, brother. We're gonna end this day off, and he's gonna ask you a couple of questions. And you just go off the top of your head, just real quick. Beat speed question. Just bang, bang, bang. Don't even think about it. Just go.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm back.
All right.
Welcome back, Austin.
How was your internet?
Yeah. I had my guy bring some over. You know, I had to make a call.
Yeah.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
You're looking nice and fresh. Your skin looks like it's glowing on everything. Now you were looking pale a minute ago.
I highly recommend it.
Okay, this is Ask an Addict, our last segment. And so once again, Mr. Scott, he's just gonna hit you with bam, bam, bam. Brandon, you and I can answer these questions too if we see Mr. Scott.
Yeah, let's do it. This is gonna be fun.
We're gonna just pop these off. Again, this is kind of like a panel questions and stuff. But if you could change your name to any name, what would it be?
Oh man. Good question.
Louis Ray.
We can pass if you
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I go by another name sometimes, which is Kai. K-Y-E. Yeah.
It's only on Tuesdays.
I was about to say KY jelly, bro.
No. K-Y-E. Yeah. Every time I order food, every time I go someplace that, like, if they need to know my name really short, it's Kai. My middle name is Kyle, but I just go by Kai. And my godson used to call me Kai. It's just Kai. That's the way it is. But most people don't know that I say that. But I was also known as Krispy Kreme in the studio, or just Crispy. That was back in the day.
Well, so what's the dumbest way you've been injured? So, I'd say, I was 11 and I broke a wrist in a pillow fight. So that was pretty dumb.
Rich was there when I made the dumbest to break. Remember that?
Wasn't your injury though.
No, actually, that wasn't just him that got injured. I got injured that night too and broke my knee. You don't remember that?
Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah, I was on. Yeah, so I got really drunk. I was trying to get into a friend's house, and he was not having it. Then we got into a fight, and I don't even know why I was trying to get into his house. I'm not even sure. And his dog ran out, and then he came out and knocked him over and literally broke his bone to where it was sticking out of his leg. And I fell on the ground and cracked my knee trying to get to his dog, and had to be on crutches for a while. That was the dumbest injury I've ever done, and definitely the worst thing I've ever done to a friend, because there was no reason behind it whatsoever. Yeah, practically, almost. And after that, his girlfriend really didn't care for me too much. She was a nurse, and it made perfect sense, that she was upset at me, because I basically caused him pain for no reason, and that shows you what addiction can do to you.
Scott, you got one?
Yeah, I was like really drunk. Yeah, I was drunk at my friend's house, like real drunk, and I was like dancing, and I did like a spin move, and I fell right through his glass table and like split my whole eye open.
Yikes!
Horrible.
That's what we want to hear right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Wow.
Let's see. What's a ridiculous thing that someone's like tricked you into believing or doing that was just like ridiculous, but you got tricked into thinking it for a while? Like, for example, I was younger and someone told me, like, when you're a kid, right, in your school, and like you look at the maps of the United States, they have like America and they have like Alaska over here and Hawaii over here. And for the longest time, I thought Alaska was an island because the maps always show it by itself. And I didn't know it was actually connected to Canada for way too long. So that was pretty stupid.
I don't have anyone for that one. I've never been tricked. I've always been smarter than everybody in the room. There's my crickets. Where's my crickets at?
Yeah, right. By the way, this is a side effect to recovery. It's
Yeah.
Larger than normal egos.
Never. I was told Santa Claus was real, and I
Humility
was 3
is
years
not
old.
normal.
I was like, please.
So when's the time that you screwed like everything up, but like no one found out about it?
That's a good one.
That's a real good one.
Let's see.
Oh, well, dang.
I wouldn't say that's possible that no one found out about it. I would say
Oh.
most people didn't find out about it. There was a lot of stuff I kept secret from a lot of people that only certain people knew. And that, that's
like
sort
what?
of the way. Years ago, I slept with a coworker's wife. At the same time, I was sleeping with another girl. And then while I was sleeping with that other girl in the same complex that I lived in, I took the girl that was married over to her house while she was out of town and had sex with her. So yeah, this was pretty bad. I was when I was really out there and just didn't give a crap about people and their feelings. It was pretty horrible. That was years and years and years ago. Yeah.
Okay. You got one, Scott? He's laughing.
I don't know if I should be saying this on here, but it's all right. I'll say it anyway.
Looking around.
Yeah, it's all right.
My church friends will forgive me on this one. Basically, I used to drive the girls around, and every night I used to literally get head from them, and literally I used to not tell anybody about it. Literally.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there.
It wasn't good.
No.
I
remember. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say the details of this person, but there is something that the three of us dealt with, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but they're similar to what he just said. We had someone with us one night that had offered it to all three of us.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember it. It was it was all three of us.
You gotta be
we've all been
more specific.
I'm not gonna do that. No, like you said, we got to keep it relatively clean. But bottom line is, guys, this is not okay. This is not okay. All right. This is starting to sound like we're happy with it, but it's not a good thing. Okay, this is destructive behavior. It hurts a lot of people.
You remember this?
I was on drugs though.
Yeah, so right, exactly. We all were, and that's exactly right. It shows you what you're willing to do when you have no feelings for other or regard for other people's feelings. I mean, it's awful behavior, but yeah.
Scott, you got any useless talents? Like just ridiculous things you can do that's useless.
I actually could bark really good.
You can what?
Like a dog bark?
Like a dog.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That sounds like the little chihuahua that I couldn't stand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can make a cricket noise. It's absolutely useless. But
what in the world?
That was
wow.
it. That was it.
That was good.
Nope.
I don't have any useless talents.
Anything and everything I do, I'm excellent. I piss excellence. So I don't know. I don't have any useless talents.
This is why we say we're recovering, because the ego has got to come down a bit here. Humility's not arrived yet. Yeah.
All right,
oh my gosh.
We'll go around, but Scott, who's the messiest person you know?
Oh gosh.
Wow. God, I don't think anybody really in my house is messy, really. I'd probably say my boy. I can't say his name though. It's bad.
It's bad. So what's his last name?
What's his last name?
And he knows it too, because he'll be listening.
Yeah. Brandon, what about you? Who's the messiest person you know?
His baby mama.
Oh God. You're trying to get me in trouble.
Damn.
No, actually, the truth of it is that she's very well organized. She is. But I would say I am probably the most messy that I know I used to have a roommate that was pretty messy, but I'm probably pretty messy. When you see my house, but the thing about it is I don't have any guests over, so it's hard for me to stay motivated to make sure everything's so pristine because I don't really care. I should probably more.
That's a
organization
self-destructive pattern.
Yes, exactly. Part of my recovery here. So
my daughter is definitely the most messiest person I know.
Mm.
Are we talking about like messy, like room messy, or like messy, like, man, they be talking too much behind people's back messy?
Well, yeah, it's a couple messes. I guess you could. I think like actual like you know we've all probably had girlfriends that are like ridiculously messy in the bathroom.
Nah, that wouldn't be my daughter then. Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got one more. I got one more we can end on. But it's kind of, it's a little bit, you might have to think about it for a second, but we'll start with you, Scott. It's like, if you could know the absolute and total truth to one question, what question would you ask? Like, who shot Kennedy, or like aliens exist? Like, like what's the one thing you want to know?
I love
it. Well, mine's ready. I know that.
Brandon, go ahead. Go ahead, Brandon.
I want to know when John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to come back into the public eye. and who Q is as well. Who is Q?
Yeah. Mine is what the hell is in Area 51? I need to know before I die. What is in Area 51?
Hey, we can honestly we could have a whole episode about aliens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend that used to work there. He told me some stuff, but he couldn't tell me everything. It's pretty amazing.
He used to work there?
I got mine.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the question.
What's up, Scott?
What I would probably say, why do people get sick? Like basically like cancer and dementia and like why do people get sick? That's what I want to know. Big time. I want to know that.
Yeah.
Well, I think
or even further, are there some hidden things we don't know about getting those people back to perfect health, and are we just not telling anybody?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
You want to know why? When I was in Mexico, they put on a thing. Dr. Baczynski, he cured cancer. Dr. Sebi, he cured diabetes. There's a cure for everything. Money talks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what's that basketball player? He got AIDS. It's like he's still like doing amazing.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently they said he had a bone marrow transplant or something. Whatever.
Yeah.
Something, but I mean, if he got the money you can get past it, I guess.
Yeah, because usually when you get to the level where you're outside of HIV and on into AIDS, it's too late. And he had gotten all the way into AIDS, and he got all the way back out of it. So I don't know. I mean, it's amazing.
30 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it.
That's all. That's all I got.
Time to wrap it up. That was a great show. Thank y'all. Hey, I'm going to apologize to the audience for all of the technical difficulties. I mean, literally, I apologize. That is not us. Y'all know we're better than that. That has never happened before. So do not remove your subscription. Okay.
Yes, for sure.
Keep us. We got a next episode. Our next episode is called Breaking Point. And we're going to dive into what has caused us to break and become recovering addicts. And hopefully you guys come back and comment and talk to us. We're going to have Austin back. Hopefully he comes back every week with us and just do this with us because we love it. Austin.
And Scott, thanks for being with us.
Appreciate you, Scott. Scott, thank you
for your
support, you guys.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you guys for having me.
Subscribe to our YouTube. You can reach us www.therecoveringaddict.life. You can reach us at The Recovering Addict Life on Facebook, and the same thing on Instagram, and email us at therecoveringaddict@life@gmail.com. Okay, we thank you guys so much. We will see you next week. All right, guys, I'm signing out.
All right.
Take it easy.
Have a good one.
See y'all later.
Okay, and broadcast.